Hey guys, Kevin here with etrailer, and today I'm going to be showing you how to install the Solera Slide-Out Awning Topper here on our 2007 Four Winds Chateau Class C motorhome. So slide-out awning toppers are going to give you a whole lot of convenience. You're not going to have to get up on a ladder and clean off your slide-out when you get debris on there. Every time I go camping, we have to get out a ladder and get up top, sweep off the top of our slide-out because we don't want all those leaves, any other that debris getting inside of our camper. Your wiper seals are going to do a good job at kind of sweeping some of that off, but they're not going to get everything. So that's where these slide-out toppers come in real handy. On top of that, they're also going to help keep your trailer a whole lot cooler because the roof that is on this is a little bit thinner than the roof that's actually on top of your motorhome or RV. So this is going to help block the sun, keeping it cooler inside of your motorhome. So the installation of this awning is going to vary depending on the length. If you have a much larger slide out, obviously you're going to need a few more hands just so that you can get your awning into position and so that you can fully install it, just because it is very awkward trying to hold it up in there and slide it into the rail. Other than that, it's fairly straightforward. So to begin our installation, we're going to have to take off our old dilapidated slide topper, and to do that, I'm going to make it a little bit easier by unrolling our slide topper just a bit. On some slide toppers, you're able to find a hole that you can kind of just stick either a flat little screwdriver through, and it'll go all the way through the roll, preventing it from actually winding back up. And if you can do that, that's going to save you a whole lot of hassle, because then this arm isn't going to try and unroll on you the second that you take this off, which can also be a safety hazard because this has a whole lot of tension on it. It could easily smack you in the face or hit you somewhere else and then really hurt. So now that we have this locked up, I'm going to try and see if the other side has the same hole in it. If not, then we're just going to have to be a little bit extra careful when we're pulling this off. Now that we have our roller kind of held in place so that our arms don't go flying on us, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start taking off our bracket here that holds it to the side of our slide out. Now we can gently let that lay loose. We can go over to our other side and start taking off of our bracket down there. And like I said, we don't know for sure if I got all the way through on this hole on this side. So we want to be careful, kind of keep an arm on the arm of this slide out topper just to be careful. All right, so we do have it secure. Now we can go ahead and get an extra pair of hands and we'll just slide our awning right out from our track here, which I do have a screw in there. Honestly, this one's so short we might be okay. There we go. So now we're gonna go ahead and just clean off our surface here. Our Beetle tape's not gonna wanna stick if we have all this gunk and debris still left on here. So I'm just gonna take a plastic scraper here, strip all that off, and then I'm gonna rub it down with some alcohol. Make sure that it's nice and clean, that way we get a good contact with our Beetle tape. Because the holes for my old bracket aren't gonna match up with my new ones, I'm gonna go ahead and just fill them in with a little bit of caulk just to make sure that we don't have any water leaking through. My top two are gonna be covered by my bracket and my Butyl tape, so I don't have to worry about those, but the bottom three are gonna be exposed. So that's the ones that we're gonna fill with the caulk. So for our brackets, they're going to mount up to the sidewall of our RV. We're going to take some butyl tape and put it on the back of it, making sure that we cover up each one of our screw holes nice and tight. That way we don't have any chance of water leaking through the screw holes into the motorhome. Do the same thing to our other bracket. So your kit's going to come with a variety of screws. It's going to have some flat head screws and then some rounded head screws. These are going to be if you're going to actually install the C channel which is also going to come with your kit. We lucked out, and since we're replacing this, it already has a channel. We don't have to replace that. But we want to make sure that we are using our flat screws, because these are going to go in and sink into our bracket so that our bracket that holds our arm can slide on without running into those screws. So our bracket has this extra little piece off of the top. We're going to use that to butt up against the top of the flange here. That's there so that you don't put this too far up and then can't get your bracket on. So you want to make sure that you are placing your bracket in this orientation. So I'm going to peel off the backing off of our butyl tape, and then I'm going to place it up here. I want to make sure that I have this nice and level. This corner of our flange here sticks down just a bit lower than our flange. So we need to make sure that we're staying level with this. We don't want to have it kind of cockeyed and then not be able to get our bracket on. But we're going to try and get this as far up into the corner as we can. Make a press on it. Get our butyl tape to stick. And then we can go ahead and sink our flat-headed screws into each of our holes. And as you're screwing these in, you'll see the butyl tape kind of spray out because it's going to get sucked up into the threads of each of those screws. That's going to help form a way tighter seal, make sure that you don't have any leakage. Now that we have our bracket screwed into place, we're going to go ahead and take some caulk, run that along the top and the sides here just so we can have a little bit more protection, and then do the same thing to the other side. So now we're going to go ahead and stick our arms on. As you can see, there's a little hole that's going to match up with the hole on the bottom, and then we're also going to have a little cap that's going to have a hole in it too. So we'll slide that in. We'll put our cap in place, and then we're going to use our bigger screws. We're going to screw that in place. Just get started by hand, and then you're going to need to use a drill because this is pretty tough to get in. And now we can go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. So you can go ahead, take off the paper, unroll it one time. And then we can go and slide our awning into our C channel. And then you can try and work your arms of your slide-out topper into the brackets, and you'll have to do a little bit of maneuvering back and forth to get it straight and centered on your slide-out. So your kit's going to come with 4 of these black little screws that have thread lock on them. They're going to need an Allen key to actually tighten into place. These are going to go on your outside brackets to hold them to the inside brackets. Your inside brackets have a top slot and a bottom slot, and that's what you're going to need to put these screws into depending on which slot you chose. So now what we're going to do is just pull our roller up a little bit and twist it so that it takes the tension off of this clip, and we can pull our clip out. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Pull our clip out and just let it slowly wind back up. Make sure that you save these clips if you ever have to do any work, or if you ever replace your awning. This makes it super easy. Just put it back in and it'll hold the roller in place so that you don't have these arms flying around and smacking you. So your kit's also going to come with these 2 black screws that are real small, but they're self-tappers. These are going to go into your extrusion rail, that C channel that your awning slides into, and that's what's going to hold it in place so that it doesn't move at all. So we're going to go in from the top of our C channel here. Just got to be real careful. We don't want to accidentally slip off and drill into our awning at all. Now with that in place, our awning's not going to slide around in our track. We don't have to worry about that anytime that we're moving our slide out in and out. So let's go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. Well, I think that about does it for today's installation of the Solera Slide-Out Awning Topper here on our 2007 Four Winds Chateau Class C motorhome.